Hello, I'm Maeve. I am a CSPC volunteer and I am here with Dr. Soledad Quiroz, Valenzuela, the Vice President for Policy at the International Network for Governmental Science Advice. Hello, thank you for being with us today.
Hello, thank you for the invitation.
So to start off, how would you characterize Canada's role today in the global science, technology, and innovation landscape? And specifically, what are the greatest opportunities and obstacles for deeper, mutually beneficial science, technology, and innovation partnerships between Canada and the Latin American countries?
I think Canada is a great country. I love to see all the biodiversity and the people's diversity. And you are known to be a very friendly country. So that is always a good characteristic to have in a partner. So I would love to see Canada more involved in an international partnerships, especially with Latin America. We have a lot of things in common. We have, particularly, I'm from Chile. We have a common interest in mining, in forests. We also have Antarctica, you have the Arctic. So there are a lot of issues, areas in common, and I would love to see more collaboration. I guess we are a little bit far apart, and that can make things more difficult. But in a global world, and with so many issues like climate change and biodiversity loss and the new challenges with mining, making mining more environmentally friendly, I think those are common issues that we can face together in a better way if we join our resources and our research and engineering. So I guess I would love to see more collaboration between Latin America and Canada.
Yeah, that's a great point because we're so similar. There's a lot of opportunity for research to do together. Continuing on this collaboration between Canada and Latin America, what practical steps should policymakers, funders, and network organizers take to strengthen equitable Canadian and Latin American collaborations in research, capacity building, and science advice?
Well, science advice in Latin America has a very different shape that it has in other countries like UK and New Zealand, that has this very strong history of science advisors to the prime ministers, to the ministers. We don't have that form. We have a different shape that is usually taken by offices, technical offices, giving reports to ministers, or by convening groups, committees, specialized committees on certain issues, and that they will give some kind of report to whoever needs it in that time. So I think both have, we can compare how effective the different systems are. We can learn the different techniques to work on science advice. We can also, there is a lot of need for data, for open data that we can compare in different countries. So open data, transparency in those reports and advice, I think is another issue we can start to examine together. The whole AI revolution that is coming also poses a big questions that we all need to share. And comparing how you are dealing with that in your research, in your teaching, that can be very, very helpful for anybody in any part of the world.
I think you really touched on kind of my next question. What impact do you foresee from emerging technologies like big data and quantum computing on how governments receive and act on scientific advice? And what new capacities will science advice systems need to build?
So AI can be a very helpful tool, but still has a lot of drawbacks. It has to be used with a lot of caution. And I think one of the main roles of science advisors is to point out to those cautionary tales. Where are the holes? Where are the not so known effects or points that can be very weak in the use of AI? So now we know that the use of cell phones and screens in kids has had a big impact in the learning abilities and social communication. But we didn't know that when the screens were created. I think something very similar is going to happen with AI. There's a lot of tools that are creating certain dependencies or certain consequences that we are not aware yet. And we have to be very careful to identify them on time. As science advice is used in the world, there is this temptation to use it and replace science advisors for AI or certain tools that use AI. But a big part of being a science advisor is to understand the values and the priorities of the person you are advising. What is the general context in the society that you are involved? And those things, I don't see them reflected in these tools yet. Maybe in 10 years, I don't know. But for now, I think there's a lot that AI has to prove and has to improve to be used as a science advisor tool.
Canada plans to invest $1.7 billion to bring more international researchers here. From your perspective, working across the Latin America and global science advice networks, what does this kind of initiative mean for collaboration? And how can we make sure it's a partnership of mutual benefit rather than like a one-way talent flow?
Well, it's great news for international collaboration. I would love to see that it expands to different countries, not just one region or one type of country. International collaboration in science tend to concentrate in countries with low or middle income. Well, Chile, Uruguay are countries of high income, but we don't invest much in science. We don't have enough scientists. So we can definitely benefit from international collaboration in that sense that we have any country has very good scientists. So the fact that you look at one indicator to choose where to pick the people from, I would like to leave that behind and concentrate in maybe again, like when we were talking before, there are certain topics that we share and concentrate on the issues that we need to solve together instead of concentrating on which countries you are selecting. So I I will be careful not to put too many, details on what kind of person you want to attract. Be open, and the less barriers you put in collaboration, I think it's allows to knowledge to be more freely available and have a higher impact.
That's great, thank you. And then final question, what is your opinion on the value of the Canadian Science Policy Centre and its position in the community as a communication hub, knowledge mobilizer, and talent incubator in the science and innovation policy landscape?
I think this center is doing a great job, and I love to see more of these type of institutions across the world. This kind of spaces that can gather different interests and different people are always needed, and I would love to see it more invested in international collaboration. I think it will be a natural extension of what already does, and it will bring more richness to the conversation. I think it will be great to see it expand to other countries and show what you're doing here, because that always inspires other people.
That's great. Thank you so much. Thank you for talking with us today.
Sure. It was a pleasure.